Alright, today I'm finally back with a movie media haul, I guess you want to call that, because there's a movie tie-in here. There's kind of a media, I would say media, TV kind of thing here, and we'll just get into it before I kind of screw up my words here. First thing I wanted to share with you is that I picked up another license plate for my collection, but it's the exact same one I got last time, and how is that even possible? The last one I got last time was DPK080 Montana PBS license plate, which is hanging right there. I'm not sure if they were factory seconds or defects, or if they were ever used, or what the story behind these are, because there's no stickers attached to them. They just look kind of weird, some slight bends and scratches to them that are just look like maybe storage wear. I don't know. And now I have another one. It's like, geez, another one. I sure hope DPK080 doesn't show up again. There's a weird bend like to right here, and it kind of goes a little bit right here and here. It's not even. There's a kind of a weird paint defect or something right here, decal / paint defect, where like the hole made kind of a couple dings there and a couple dings there. There's like a little ring ding right here. You may not be able to see that. These things are just ultra thin. I could turn this into, it's just basically like bending a playing card. They're that thin. But people still buy them and really collect them. You can see where the decal slipped off a little bit over here. There's some extra material there, but that doesn't really matter so much. So I don't know what this is, if this is just a factory second. There's some scratches on there because whether this was used or not, it was used for a very, very little time period, if it used at all. How the seller is able to get those, maybe he has a deal with the DMV to get all the unused / leftover plates, but it would have been nice to get both of them at the same time. That would I would have saved $6.50 in shipping. You know, everything I have to do is at a minimum of $6.50 for shipping. Yesterday, or actually 4 days ago, I bought another piece of media for my collection, and it was $6.50 in shipping. It would have been cheaper, but there was a problem with the internet crashing when I was trying to make a finalized bid on something, and whether that seller's going to reload those items, because there was hundreds of items that got 0 bids at $10 a piece, and I only got 1 item. I would have liked to have 3, you know, so then I want to, you know, did the shipping, so that's all done. I'm tripping over my words here, so let's get into what came in today. Got some amazing mail, one from San Bernardino, California. All kinds of neat things with the peace symbol and the this and that and the other thing. And this is Mike Farrell from MASH. So I just wanted to get 2 cards done and sent out here. MASH is almost done because somebody said you should write to Alan Alda. He's still alive. It doesn't mean he's signing. He hasn't signed for an awfully long time. I think he's got some dementia issues or something, because you don't see him on TV anymore. Just because you're alive doesn't mean you can physically sign. But anyway, he signed in some sort of pen, you know, scratchy pen that kind of dented the card. A lot of people have said that his autograph and whatever is just junk. But I'm just happy to get something from Mr. Mike Farrell, and he's in his 80s, I believe. And thank you, Mr. Farrell, for everything you've done, because I read up on him and he does a lot of really good stuff for people. So there is that one. Then we have another request here that came out of, I'm not exactly sure because I don't think it was marked, but it said William Barber, and I was like, William Barber, oh, that's got to be Bill Barber, and it is. So William / Bill Barber signed this 1980, whoa, gosh, 81, 82, because 81 and 80 and 81 are the stats on the back of it. So 80, 81, Bill Barber, signed right there, a super action card. I looked for other ones, and there's some ones I need for actual sets there, but unfortunately I did not have those, and I had waited on him for centuries, so I decided to get finally this one sent out. This Bill Barber, this little miniature one that I got. I got a good deal on these a lot years ago. There was like next to nothing. And now again, you don't get lots anymore. They're all individual cards. So this Bill Barber would be closer to $5, and this was probably like a couple dollars for just like about 5 or 6 stickers of different people. There's some Barbers and some other ones. So I had extra ones, and I don't remember if I sent one for him to keep. But very happy to finally get Bill Barber. I've gotten him before, but those are ones that were just laying around here, and it was just a house cleaning type of thing. You know, housekeeping. I needed to get those sent out. And then I got a big one, a huge 8x10. There's no markings on here, but it says photo. So I sent 1 photo. There are the stamps there. If you actually care. And then the photograph got a little ding on it. I think there were some stars that got clipped off on this, but I think it's okay. It looks more or less okay. you know, when you do your Snapfish order and you put everything in a little border that you think you're going to get all that, and some of those were cropped. So I was very disgusted, but I don't know. It looks more or less okay in this particular picture. But this is the CBS movie Portrait of a Showgirl. I'm the only one that has actually done this picture ever. It's crooked because the image in the slide was crooked and I couldn't line it up. I lined it up the best that I could without altering the image too much. But that is Leslie Ann Warren, and I cannot remember who just got them back. I might have been Hank Rassico that just got them back. I do not remember who got them back. But this is in slide format, very much like this little Joanne Woodward slide here. And then I printed that with this. I didn't say printed that, I made a copy of that with this little slide scanner here the best that I can. And then I had Snapfish. As you can see, Snapfish has a big honkin' logo on there. I don't really care it says Snapfish there. I'd rather say nothing else there. But I probably mentioned that I had this in slide format, and it came out actually pretty well here. If you don't know, I'm a huge collector of on-camera use material. So that particular slide might have been said, you know, we're back with our CBS movie of the week, you know, Portrait of a Showgirl with Leslie Ann Warren, and then they would sometimes mention some of the lesser actors in the show there. But local media outlets like Channel or KPTV 12, they would have movies on Sunday, and they would use a lot of promotional slides, you know, to mention the show, and then they would go to commercial break and then have a string of commercials. And then they would also use these to let you know that the movie is coming back on. And you were saying, Mom, the popcorn is ready, time to come back to the movie, sort of thing. And so that's exactly what happened there. So I'm very happy I got a really cool license plate in to add to my collection. Again, I'm not approving of all these ones because I could just basically fold that with my fingers there and ruin it right there. Fold it and damage it. That's how thin these things are. But again, having a complete set is really, really rewarding there. Again, with seeing what people were charging for license plates at the swap meet, I am so happy to. The first one was $12, and for whatever reason this was $11, and I did not want this, you know, for somebody else to put a bid on this, and if it got a couple bids, I was like, oh man, now I just shot myself in the foot there. Why they didn't sell them to me as one swoop there, don't know. Very happy to have that in. I'm not collecting any more license plates for a while, but there are other states that have public media license plates that will be on the auction block one of these times. I do have a couple other things I want to mention before I finish off here, because I'm tripping over my words. It's been a long I want to say a long week here, but I damaged a record here. In the process of actually putting it away, I damaged it. So this Solid Colors was only $1. Liz Story. I may have shown that in the previous video. There's Liz Story right there. And this is on Windham Hill. And I actually put a huge couple of scratches on the record because I pushed on something and the whole stack of records went crashing to the floor. And then this is the one that was outside of the sleeve and it dragged across some furniture. Put a big huge scratch on there, and another one here which I haven't tested. It plays just fine, but it's got you know, so other than that, there's a scratch there, so everything else is super mint. Unfortunately, this is like an $11 to $12 record with the shipping, so I saw one as low as 88 cents, so even less than what I paid, but there was like $6 or $7 in shipping, so that's $9 to $10, $11 shipping on a record, which I just got. And that just, you know, puts me behind because there's other ones I kind of wanted. And then when I organized my records, when I say organized, I threw them in a huge heap of pile over here, and my new shelves are almost 100% full. I mean, I got to reorganize my last shelves. The previous shelves, I cleared off some shelves off shelf number 1, and then when you look at it, it's like there's no room for any records there. How did you even have records on there? There's room for probably about 15 records. Then the next shelf, there's a little bit more room, and then the third shelf, it's almost 100% full. You don't see records very often on this video here because I don't buy very many. You know, I bought 5. 5 is just, and somebody said that records could just really eat up your time. You just don't know how easy they are to just kind of goof up and creep up on you. And the last thing here I wanted to share, I guess kind of a funny story here. I needed some glue sticks. Now before you think I'm going out and reusing stamps, one was really pretty icky and I wasn't sure if it was used or not, but it had the gum on the back of it. So I wanted to use a glue stick and I couldn't find it. Then there was another stamp that wasn't canceled. They came from a different collection, so I just said, you know what, I'm just going to put those on there, but I didn't find my glue stick. So I went to Dollar General, not knowing that these were $2.50 for these Chinese-made glue sticks. That's what they rang up as. But when I went to the register because I needed some ice cream, needed, as is the exact word, needed ice cream, because you don't have a whole freezer full of cherries that you've saved for the summer to not put in your ice cream. So that's what I was doing with that one there. Got some vanilla ice cream, $4.75 for the ice cream, $2.50 for the glue sticks, and then somehow I got some magic $2.80 off the price, so the glue sticks were less than a penny. They were free. They were free. So I don't know what kind of special I got on the ice cream or the glue sticks, but it was really, really crazy. And Dollar General, you just don't know if Zach the Frugal had seen what I had done. That was a pretty good deal. So I got free glue sticks. They don't work very well, but it worked well enough to get those stamps on there. And knowing I have some other kind of iffy stamps to throw back on an envelope that came in a collection that I bought from a friend. Again, it was one of those things. I think they got water damaged, and their stickum has gotten lost. So they're perfectly good to use. It's just that I just cannot, I couldn't find the Elmer's glue. Then the Elmer's glue was looking like, everything was looking like, tariffs have set in. Not that the Elmer's glue came from, overseas, but again, a lot of stuff, these are Chinese glue sticks. If I went to Dollar Tree, those would be $1.25, not $2.50. Again, I don't understand what's so special about halfway dried glue sticks. But you have to be very careful. They don't have an expiration date on them, on most of them, and they were having some crazy promotion on Elmer, but these are not Elmer branded glue sticks, so I don't know what was going on with there. That's probably the final thing here. I just cannot get to the video stuff that I want to. I spent last night throwing crazy amounts of autographs into pages, but they were not in the right collections and not in the right binders because they were going to get destroyed and damaged. Some of those have been out of their binders for a year. That's just how behind I am. And this needs to go into my 1996 binder, but where's my 1996 binder? I put the biggest label I could on it, and now I can't find it. I don't know what to do there. Very frustrating that this has all happened in a matter of a year. It just, you do a couple of things, you put a couple of things together. Now I got to figure out whether I want to put this in a frame or if I want to throw this in a page there. And I had a binder here just a minute ago. I did put some 8x10 pictures or pages in there because not only did I not realize that I had a packet of picture pages. Picture pages, picture pages, picture pages, picture pages, picture pages. No, it's not bad Bill Cosby. I just lost my and then so I bought another pack of it, so I have, of course, 50 picture pages, and then those 50 picture pages are almost 100% used up with family pictures and other things that have been going on, so now I need some more picture pages. And it gets on and on. And I will not buy the ones at $1.25 treat because Jot is really, it just basically like use it to wrap, your food, and that's about as good as it's for. I mean, it's probably not healthy to wrap your food in those, but that's how thin they are, like a thin plastic bag that you get to wrap your vegetables in to when you go to the store. And that's really all I have here. I know I have other things I could share and show, but I don't want to. That's all I'm going to do for today. I'm not going to really talk about the whole YouTube situation, but people are just leaving in droves because they just can't handle what's going on there. It's not political necessarily, but it's just the haves versus the have-nots. The whole thing is like I got a new card and everybody says enjoy what you have, and a week later they spent crud loads of money in different events on crazy expensive things. I am just doing the absolute bare minimum to keep this channel going here, and it's just right on the edge of sinking or going forward. So that's pretty much all I have right now. Hope you like those autograph requests. All of those people that I have written to, you can go to the different forums and check them out here. I cannot give people addresses because people used to ask me for addresses all the time because they did not want to go and sign up for these free services or these yearly pay services. If you're not willing to pay, then I can't give out autograph addresses. I'm just being kind of trying to keep an even keel right now and be very positive. Without being kind of, I don't want to be a stick in the mud. So I just talked way too long, and thanks for watching.
Tonight on the CBS Tuesday Night Movies.